Hey Bradone. Today we're going to continue looking at Saul in 1 Samuel chapter 13. What is happening now with Saul is he is at war again with the Philistines. You know, this is an old enemy of the people of Israel, and so they're fighting with the Philistines again, and it's not going well again. And a lot of the Israelite soldiers are running away. They're deserting Saul. They're saying, we're not fighting anymore. We're afraid. So they're running away. But Saul is trying to be brave, and he's standing his ground. And he calls for Samuel to come and give a sacrifice because he wants God's help with this battle. And Samuel sends a message back, and he says, wait for 7 days. I'll be there in 7 days. So Saul waited, but then he got impatient. And he said, okay, he waited the 7 days. He said, I've waited 7 days. Samuel's not here yet. Bring the sacrifice, and I'm going to do the sacrifice myself. Well, first of all, he's not allowed to do the sacrifice. That has to be done by a priest. So when he did that sacrifice, he was sinning. That's one of Saul's bad habits. And as soon as he made the sacrifice, then Samuel the priest shows up. And he says, why did you do this? And he gets in trouble with God. Saul gets in trouble with God. He gets in trouble with Samuel. And Samuel tells him, you're in big trouble. God's going to replace you. He's already looking for a new king because you aren't obeying him. So that's kind of what happened. In the verse 9 in chapter 13 says, so Saul took charge. Bring me the burnt offering and the peace offerings. He went ahead and sacrificed the burnt offering. No sooner had he done it than Samuel showed up. So the lesson today is don't get ahead of God. Saul was impatient, and he decided to take matters into his own hand, even though it seemed like the thing to do. That's the problem with Saul. He sometimes did things that he thought was the right thing to do, but it ended up not being the right thing. So we can do that too. There might be something that you want to do that seems like a good idea. But if you go ahead and do it if you get ahead of God, you do something you're not supposed to do, and it ends up being bad and causing more problems and more trouble than if you just waited and were patient. Now this is a little bit different lesson than what we learned before when I said you need to show people what you can do. Remember that? Don't be afraid and be confident and show people what you can do. But it's important to remember when you're doing that, don't get ahead of God. Don't you dare do something that God didn't tell you to do, because it'll end up being a big problem. So that's the lesson for today. Oh, and I saw some cool pictures of you. I saw that you were milking a coconut. And I'm wondering if that was the coconut that you threw out in the backyard before you went to Arkansas, if you finally picked that up and opened it up. And the other thing I saw was you were cutting your gummy pizza. And I bet that was good. Love you. Have a good day.